The Rams have officially reported for training camp, and we have everything you need to know from Sean McVay's press conference. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramily, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Also, want to send a special shout out to the everyday listeners out there, the new viewers out there. We're at 18,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. Just past that, want to send a special shout out to the new subscribers, but also the longtime viewers that got us here. If you want to support the show and the channel every day, hit the like button, drop a comment. And for the podcast listeners, write us a review. We'll read it on the show. My name is Doug McCain. Friends call me D-Mac. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I've covered LA sports for over a decade. 24/7 Sports, Bleacher Report, SI, Dodgers Nation. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. Today I'm flying solo. The People's Champ, Mr. Travis Rogers, out today. We'll be back tomorrow. We got a jam-packed show, though. The Rams have finally reported to training camp at Loyola Marymount University, and we're going to tell you everything you need to know from Sean McVay's media availability. But first, today's episode of Locked On Rams brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. All right, so let's dive into it. Actually, before we do that, I just want to point out that Kevin Dotson today had the best arrival hairstyle in the history of the NFL. The best arrival to training camp fit hairstyle ever. For my podcast listeners, this is a image of Kevin Dotson's hair, which is blue and gold. It is Soul and Rams Royal. He's got the Rams horns painted in his hair. The Rams tweet out, never seen someone more locked in for training camp. K-Dot bringing the Rams good vibes, the good energy, and you love to see it. But the next big question, after just kind of looking at who showed up, was would Kairen Williams be there? And he absolutely was. And Sean McVay had some comments about Kairen Williams and his arrival. So the Rams and Kyren, they continue to have contract talks about a potential extension, and they have not come to an agreement on a new deal. But Sean McVay did tell reporters that they have made progress on a new contract and that the team will sit down with Kairen Williams' agent, Drew Rosenhaus, on Wednesday to continue those conversations. Kairen Williams is confident that they're going to get a deal done at some point. He wants to stay with the Rams. So it's now in the red zone, close to the goal line, it feels like. Sean McVay said, we have gotten closer, haven't gotten a deal over the finish line, obviously. He has done everything that he can control that makes you want to say, let's try in good faith to try to figure this out for this guy because he's representing all the things that are right about the Rams. So this is a good example of players that are no nonsense, doing their jobs, that are going to get rewarded for their character. This is what it feels like. The fact that Kairen Williams has this level of buy-in, has won over the coaches the way he has, it feels like it is going to lead to a new contract. That is going to be the final reason why he inks a new deal. So credit to Kairen Williams for all of the sweat equity he has within this organization. Credit to Kairen Williams just for being a really good running back that has put himself in a position to get a new deal from a franchise that is understandably a little gun-shy about signing running backs after what they went through with Todd Gurley a few years ago. But clearly, the short in all of this is feels like a deal is pretty imminent And I think that at this point, it's safe to say that it would be pretty shocking at this point if they didn't get something done before the start of the season. So feel good for Kyren. Feel good that Sean McVay is coming out and saying these things about him in these situations. But let's get this past us and let's get this deal done and let's focus on all the football that's ahead during training camp. And I love this. Now, next big takeaway from Sean McVay's introductory press conference at training camps, first training camp press conference this year, is an update on Alaric Jackson. And we're going to get into that next on Locked On Rams. And a reminder that today's episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by Rugiet. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rugiet Ready. Rugiet Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to amplify arousal in the brain and boost blood flow. Unlike the usual pills that can take hours, Rugiet's 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue and kicks in fast. On average, in 15 minutes. Effects can last up to 36 hours, so you can stay confident and in control when the moment is right. If traditional options haven't worked, Rugiet might be the answer. Over 150,000 men have already made the switch. I love that it complements and just completely comes online. Rugiet connects you with a board-certified doctor and ships your treatment discreetly to your door. So it's completely online. You can even read real customer reviews on their site. It's helping a lot of people feel more confident and present in the moment. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnNFL and use code LockedOnNFL to get 15% off today. That's Rugiet, RUGIET.com/LockedOnNFL and use promo code LockedOnNFL for 15% off. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under the federal law, but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit Rugiet website or a fully safety information. So please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information. And we are off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Special shout out to those every listeners out there watching and listening to every single episode of Locked On Rams. And if you are not a part of that Everyday Listeners Club, now is the time to join. Training camp is upon us. Preseason, regular season. We are almost at football season, the most glorious time of the year, and you want to be a part of that Everyday Listeners Club. That way you won't miss a thing about your Los Angeles Rams. Okay, so one of the biggest questions heading into the start of the season is the health of Alaric Jackson. The newly re-signed left tackle has been dealing with a blood clot issue in his leg that he was diagnosed with this offseason, and the positive is that he is not going to start training camp on the PUP list, the physically unable to perform list, or the NFI list. He is going to be participating in practice. He's just not going to be doing team drills and doing any kind of physical work that the other linemen are going to be doing. Instead, where he's going to be is with individual drills. He's going to just do individual stuff, continue to stay active, put his work in, and they're going to take this thing a step at a time, and they're not going to rush things. But that is definitely very good news. Sean McVay was asked about if Alaric Jackson was going to be able to play in week 1, and McVay said, quote, "It's a very real possibility if all goes according to plan." So this is great news. This is actually the biggest news coming out of the start of training camp, is that it looks like Alaric Jackson has taken well to the treatment. He was back in Michigan. He was back in Detroit, relaxing, taking that medication. And that is extremely extremely positive. Sean McVay said that they're hopeful, they're optimistic. He would go on to say it's obviously been a unique situation. What I think has been great is that we've been able to learn is that we do have a plan in place that we're confident in. Most importantly, he feels good about it. That hopefully leads to him being on the field for us, but we are not going to take it. We're going to take it a day at a time. He's not going to be on the PUP or the NFI. What he'll be able to do in the meantime is some individual drills with the training staff. Some of that will be with coaches. Some of the jog throughs, the actual physical stuff, he will not partake in right now, and we'll just take it a day at a time with something of this nature. He'll go on to say, but I do feel good about the plan we have in place that hopefully leads to him being able to go out there and compete with his teammates. I know he's really feeling good. He's handled this like a total stud. And I think the perspective that this stuff gives you, where it's about the human being first and foremost, but he's got a lot of people that love him that are with him on this journey. And we're excited to be able to take it a day at a time with him. So positive stuff. And of course, it's one day at a time, but let's not forget, the Rams have a lot invested in Alaric Jackson. They signed him to a 3-year, $57 million deal this offseason. They found the blood clots. They gave them medication. And the Rams didn't just say, okay, we're just going to hope for the best and not have a backup plan. No, give the Rams credit. They went out there and they signed veteran DJ Humphries to a 1-year deal in the event that Alaric Jackson does have to miss some time. Now, he did start 335 games in the last 3 seasons, has missed some time, but I'm feeling really good about this. I mean, just listen to the things that McVay is saying. What I also don't want to do, and hopefully you can understand this, is set expectations on something that we are in the process of learning. We have a plan in place. If things go according to plan, feel like that is a very real possibility that he's going to be back. But again, this is the first time that I've navigated through anything like this with a player. You start to realize there's a lot of guys that have been able to be in great situations, even though they've had to overcome similar situations. So the answer, hopeful and optimistic, taking it one day at a time. That's the right approach from all of us, and it's mentally and physically for Alaric as well. So that's good news. It looks like the medication's taking, and the plan is that he's not going to be missing time. He'll be ready for the start of the season. Now, next big takeaway involves Matthew Stafford. And the expectation for Stafford at the start of training camp is that he's going to be limited at the beginning of camp. And this was surprising. I mean, this was a little bit of surprising. Sean McVay said that he's managing some back soreness that has crept up leading into camp. McVay is not concerned about Matthew Stafford's status for the regular season, and they had planned to give him additional days of rest anyway, but it's definitely something to consider to start the year. The fact that he is going to be limited to start training camp. He's only going to do individual work with the trainers for the first week of practice, and he's going to manage that back soreness. So he's just doing individual work. And we saw a couple years ago when he was on a pitch count, he was throwing flags and towels and things like that. This is not like it's involving the arm. So that's definitely encouraging from that standpoint because, of course, a quarterback is the arm. You don't want to have anything related to that. But I think that the big takeaway of this is, one, it's another reminder that there's more yesterdays than tomorrows for Matthew Stafford. And two, that you want to get every single win, every single playoff win, every single morsel out of this window of contention. You want to extract that out of Matthew Stafford this year. It's got to be all gas, no brakes when the season starts with Matthew Stafford as far as, hey, we are going to evaluate the pieces around him. If we think we're a piece away, we're going to be active at the trade deadline. But I think my biggest takeaway is, hey, yeah, you know what? Even though he's been in pretty good shape, even though that he's been tough as nails and he's played through injuries, the guy is closer to 40 than he is to 30. And yes, in the National Football League, you can play that position into your 40s, but let's realize what they have now and make sure that you're all the way in for this season. I definitely expect the Rams to be just that. So just another reminder of that. Matthew Stafford, you can take my back, but it's not a great one. So, hopefully Matthew Stafford can be at 100% throughout the season. That's why it's a good topic to get into after Alaric Jackson, because keeping him vertical and keeping that jersey clean all year is going to be of the utmost importance. Another veteran is Rob Havenstein. And Rob Havenstein has been a rock for this franchise even before LA. He's the one remaining Ram from St. Louis. Well, he is going to be a full participant in practice, so that's definitely good news. He's coming off offseason shoulder surgery, and he wanted to continue that career, did not want to retire after the 2024 season, which was something that he was considering. And, of course, the right tackle position is very demanding, very physical. And, look, you got to go through the ups and downs of a regular season, and you're never at 100%. A guy that big, it takes a big physical toll on you, a big mental toll. But he did not want to call it a career. And the Rams really carefully managed his offseason program. They did not allow him to overexert himself. So the fact that he's going to be back at full strength after the surgery, being a full participant, that's a good sign and a strong indication that from a physical standpoint, even at his age, even with all the experience and all the snaps that he's played, that he's still a starting caliber right tackle in this league. And another thing to feel good about, considering the question marks and the uncertainty with the left tackle in Alaric Jackson. So you at least have Rob Havenstein, Old Faithful over there. I'm not calling him old. It's Havenstein Classic. He's not old. He is a classic. So that's definitely a positive there, is Rob Havenstein is good to go to start the year. And I have that bad offensive line injury feeling that's been creeping into my mind, but I'm not going to let it get to me. Hope springs eternal at the beginning of training camp, and we're going to root for a healthy season. But definitely there's some sirens that have kind of gone off, but let's hope that it's not a major deal. I'm going to keep reminding myself, you got K. Dot with the awesome hairstyle. But coming up next, a youthful energy at Rams camp and what Sean McVay has to say about a second-year Ram and why it could be even better in year two. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. Workplace stress is at an all-time high. 61% of the global workforce is reporting higher than normal stress levels. This summer is the perfect time to take small steps to focus on your wellness and manage the challenges that come with your workday. Of course, most of us can't just quit our jobs or take endless vacations, but we can start small, whether it's getting outside for a few minutes, adding movement into your day, or talking to someone who can help you navigate life's challenges. That's where BetterHelp comes in. Do you have any boundaries that you've been wanting to set? Therapy can help set healthier boundaries at work and wherever you need them, so stress doesn't spill over the rest of your life. I mean, you got to set those boundaries. You got to know when to turn it on, turn it off, to just have those boundaries with your friends, your families. You need to set them. Now, if you have a busy schedule, hey, do you ever wish you had more time to schedule appointments? Well, the flexibility of online therapy makes it easy to fit sessions into a busy schedule no matter where you are. Do you know anyone that has experienced any benefits? I have, because they tell me that BetterHelp has really helped them, and just therapy in general has just given them a big stress relief, a lot of clarity, and just they're massive proponents of what it can do for you. I've just seen how it can help people develop positive coping skills that make day-to-day challenges easier to manage. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Unwind from work with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/lockedon. That's BetterHelp.com/lockedon. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh With new daily promotions and fun ways to bet, it's easy to use, fast to pay out. It makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Yesterday, you had the Dodgers and the Twins. I had the Dodgers, and last inning, Carlos Correa almost hits a game-tying home run. James Outman makes the catch. It was already exciting, but FanDuel made it even that much more exciting. So whether I'm placing same-game parlays or watching a bet right into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action. If you're new to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, so one of the themes of this Rams team that I absolutely love is the fact that you have experienced veterans mixed with young up-and-coming players, and you combine those two, and I think you have a team that can compete for a Super Bowl in 2025, but that also has the building blocks for future contention. There's not a lot of teams around the NFL that can say that. Either they're all in or they're rebuilding or they're right in the middle, but the Rams truly have Super Bowl level upside while developing core pieces for the future. And one of those core pieces, Braden Fisk, he's saying that he feels a lot better, more comfortable playing at a heavier weight. He had his press conference today, and he said that he's up to 292 to 293 pounds. Last season, he was under 290 pounds. Fisk said, quote, "That's where I feel the best at. Last year, I kind of floated under 290, which was fine, but I feel a lot better when I'm a little bit heavier. I don't get moved around too much, so feels a lot better at that weight." So the fact that he's bulked up, the fact that he's continued to get stronger and put more muscle while also cutting down some fat, that is the Aaron Donald recipe for success in the NFL. Is, hey, the weight you see is muscle. And that's what Braden Fisk looks like. It looks like you lost some fat, but you gained muscle, and the weight is up. Remember, muscle weighs more than fat, right? The old adage, the old saying. And he's saying that he feels better. So even though it's a physical thing, I think it's also a mental thing and a confidence thing. And the fact that he worked with a dietitian during the offseason to make this happen, it shows you his commitment level to be great. A lot of players, you get to the NFL, you feel good about where you are, and you get that first NFL paycheck, and you get the cars, you get the house, and you're a little comfortable. That wasn't the case for Fisk, because last season he had some high highs, and then he had some areas that you wanted him to improve at. Last year, 9 sacks. You look at the overall grade at 56.5, the pass rush grade 67.2, the run defense at 40. So I look at that run defense PFF grade at 40, and that's where I think that adding the weight can improve that number. Because for me, it's the pressures. Last year, he had 51 pressures. That was 11th out of 219 defensive linemen. That is very strong. And he was right up there after Jared Verse for best defensive rookies in the NFL, and I think he's only going to get better. I mean, this is a big dude. I mean, 6'5", dude who's going to be pushing 292, 293, 25 years old. Fisk is that man, and I love the fact that he's not using training camp to get in shape. He is in shape as he gets to training camp. That's a major testament to his offseason work ethic. I love me some Braden Fisk. It's, hey, Jared Verse gets all the pub, rightfully so, but Braden Fisk is going to be a major part of what makes this defense special in the future. And then Sean McVay, he talked about the youthful energy and how that has impacted this team. He said, "It does feel like a youthful energy that we have, and I even feel that from some of our players. You'll watch the way Matthew Stafford's running around the offseason, how he feels and his vibe. So even some of these guys that are older by age, they feel younger." So that's what's so interesting about this team, because you've got Matthew Stafford, 37, going to 38, that range. Rob Havenstein, Tyler Higbee, even Devontae Adams, right? As far as receivers go, north of 30, guys that are on the older sides of their positions. And then it's got to be fun and re-energizing for them to share this locker room with guys like Puka Nacua and Kairen Williams and Kobe Turner and all these guys to kind of just reinvigorate themselves. So I definitely think that that's going to be a major theme for this team, and that's just what keeps it interesting and keeps this team young. And I think that's going to be really, really important for sure. And then you just kind of look at some of these players returning from injuries. I mean, Rob Havenstein, offseason shoulder surgery, is 33, ready to start at right tackle. They need him in a big way. Other players, I mean, Braden Fisk, he injured his right knee in their playoff loss to the Eagles. He missed the rest of the game. He had a minor surgery to fix that, and he came to camp earlier this offseason. He's one of the most impactful defensive players. 8.5 sacks his rookie year. Matthew Stafford was dealing with a rib injury during the 2024 playoffs. And the good thing is that kind of healed by itself, but now you got the back thing, and hopefully he'll be at full strength. So other injuries, we'll talk about Darion Kendrick. His offseason, I mean, former 6th-round pick. He missed the entire 2024 year. He tore his ACL last year. Then they waived him. They re-signed him. And then he's back. Larrell Murchison. He's another interesting one. Arm injury during preseason. It's going to be his 5th season after being picked in the 5th round by the Titans in 2020. He'll be looking to get a roster spot. Other injured guys. Nick Hampton. Nick Hampton, torn pectoral in the Rams' Week 15 win over the Niners. He was out for the rest of the season and the playoffs. So he's been mainly a special teams guy. He's a guy that is trying to make it back. Blake Corum, he had a fractured forearm against the Seahawks. He didn't play in the playoffs. He was on the injured reserve. He finished his rookie year with 207 yards on 58 carries, 58 yards receiving on 7 catches. He's going to battle Jarquez Hunter to be the number 2 running back. So I think part of that youthful energy and all these vibes are also about, hey, guys come back from injury, guys trying to make this roster. Camp is just always exciting, and these guys are a big reason why. But it's exciting. Training camp is here. They've reported. You got your guys signed for the most part. Now it's just about putting in that work and seeing who emerges. And this is the most exciting part as far as the margins on the roster that you just cannot wait to see. And I can't wait. You can't wait. And I'm going to do my best to get the Kevin Dotson hairstyle. I don't think I could pull it off. I don't got K-Dot's hair, but I think I got to go full Rams horns. The Rams win the Super Bowl, I'm going full Rams horns. But I might even do it before then. Should I do it? Let me know down below. Could I rock it? Let me know down below. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Subscribe to the Locked On Rams YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and on your way out, if you want to support the channel, hit that like button for your Los Angeles Rams. Podcast listeners, write us a review. We'll read it on the show. So excited to start this journey with you guys. The Ramley, another year is upon us. Training camp, to me, is the real start of this season, and it's going to be a wild ride as always. But that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Rams. And just a reminder, the Locked On NFL Top 100 is here, voted on by the NFL hosts of the Locked On Podcast Network. Our Top 100 was formed by experts that cover these teams and players every day. Find the full list on Locked On Sports Today, on YouTube, or wherever you hear podcasts. Don't miss any of our reactions either, where some of these players landed. We had Jared Verse at 57. I did a reaction on that, so definitely look out for that on the shorts. But that is going to do it, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow, and until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.